Hello and welcome to this Wednesday night football review. Well, here we're going to talk about league fixtures around England, France, and over to Spain, but also we're going to focus on what went down in the Coppa Italia final between Lazio and Inter Milan. City faced their important fixture against Crystal Palace at the Etihad to chase Arsenal to the league title, and Barcelona, the already champions, go away to Alaves while PSG tries to win against Lens to claim their 14th League One title. Let's analyze what went down in each of these games together. Over into Etihad, full-time score between Man City and Crystal Palace. Manchester City 3, Crystal Palace 0, as Foden starts as Guardiola's men take title race into final week. Arsenal cannot win the Premier League title in match week 37. After a much changed Man City team beat Crystal Palace 3-0. Man City kept the pressure on Arsenal in the Premier League title race, moving into 2 points of the Gunners with a 3-0 win over Crystal Palace at the Etihad Stadium. Exactly 14 years since Sergio Aguero's famous final day goal handed them their first Premier League crown, City needed a win to ensure this season's title race cannot be decided in Arsenal's favour this weekend. And despite Pep Guardiola leaving Erling Haaland, Jeremy Doku, and Ryan Cherky out of his starting 11 ahead of Saturday's FA Cup final against Chelsea, City cruised into a commanding victory. Phil Foden was one of the 6 players brought into Guardiola's starting 11, and he provided 2 assists within the space of 8 minutes later in the first half. After 32 relatively uneventful minutes, Foden took in Matheus Nunes' pass and produced a sublime backheel to find Antoine Semenyo, who finished neatly into the bottom left corner. There was perhaps an element of fortune about Foden's second assist, as he attempted to pluck Josko Gvardiol pass out of the air and saw the ball squirm to Omar Marmoush, and the Egyptian used his body well to finish on the swivel. The tempo dropped in the second half though. City had a couple of nervy moments as Ismail Assar shot straight at Gianluigi Donnarumma following an error from Bernardo Silva, while Daichi Kamada was booked for a simulation inside the host's area. But Savinho put some gloss on the scoreline and inched City's goal difference one ahead of Arsenal in the 84th minute, slotting home after being teed up by substitute Cherky. City will look to lift their second trophy of the season on Saturday before turning their attentions to an Arsenal's meeting with Burnley on Monday. Any slip-up from the Gunners would grant City an opportunity to go by beating in form Bournemouth a day later. The 6 changes to City's lineup for this match were more than they had made ahead of their previous 5 Premier League games combined, and Foden took his opportunity to remind everyone, including England boss Thomas Tuchel, of his quality. He provided 2 assists in a single Premier League game for the first time since December 2023 versus Sheffield United, and achieved that feat before half-time for the very first time. Meanwhile, no player has created more chances in the first half of the Premier League match this season than Foden's 5 against Palace. Guardiola did not even have to call upon Haaland from the bench, and City have now won 15 of their 19 Premier League games without the Norwegian, featuring since he arrived at the Etihad at the start of 2022-23 season. City only hit the target with 4 of their 15 shots, which accumulated to 1.56 expected goals, but at the other end, they held Palace to 6 shots, which is 2 on target, and 0.68 xG. And that's the Wednesday Premier League fixture concluded with Man City winning Crystal Palace 3-0. We now move on to a cup fixture before analyzing the other European League fixtures, in which an important cup final fixture in the Coppa Italia between Lazio and Inter Milan. Inter Milan, already champions of the Serie A, facing Lazio at the Stadio Olimpico. Full-time score: Lazio 0, Inter Milan 2, as Kivu's men clinched domestic double with Coppa Italia triumph. Inter have added the Coppa Italia trophy to the Scudetto success with Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez on target in the final. Inter claimed their first domestic double since 2010, when head coach Cristian Chivu was a player after a 2-win over Lazio in the Coppa Italia final. Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez got the goals for Inter in the first half to clinch the trophy for the first time since 2022-23 season, adding their Scudetto success. Martinez had already steered an early header wide before Thuram broke the deadlock in the 14th minute. He got the slightest of glancing touches on Federico Di Marco's corner, with Adam Marusic inadvertently turning the ball and behind him, though the Frenchman got the credit. Nuno Tavares then made a last-ditch block to keep out Denzel Dumfries' volley before he was at fault for Inter's second. The former Arsenal defender was caught on by the ball by Dumfries, who drove into the box before fizzing it into Martinez, who tapped into the empty net after 35 minutes. Eduardo Mota made a sharp save to keep out Piotr Zelensky shortly after, while Gustav Isaacson saw an effort deflect narrowly wide in Lazio's first attack on the stroke of halftime. Tijani Noslin curled a shot off target as Lazio attempted to fight back, while Josep Martinez needed to keep out Boulaye Dia after Luis Enrique had missed the chance to make it 3-0 to Inter. Tempers flared in the latter stages as Inter dug in to grind out the victory, with Lazio unable to mount a fight back, with Chivu lifting 2 trophies in his first season in charge. Martinez has scored 3 goals in Coppa Italia finals, which also a brace versus Fiorentina in 2023. No player has done better with Inter. Hernan Crespo and Julio Cruz also have 3. But this was his first goal in the Coppa Italia this season, having only played one other match in the competition before this one. Inter got the job done in the first half, with 8 of their 11 shots coming before the break, including all 3 on target. They accumulated 1.69 expected goals to Lazio's 0.73, which is from 8 attempts. The Nerazzurri have claimed their 10th Coppa Italia title, with Juventus, who are 15, the only team to win more, while they have also now lifted the title in each of their last 5 finals they have reached. And that's full-time whistle. In the Coppa Italia final, congratulations once again to Inter Milan as they defeated Lazio with 2-0 and lifted Coppa Italia trophy. Over in Ligue 1, in the title decider match between competitor Lens and Paris Saint-Germain, full-time score, Lens 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2, as Kvaratskhelia and Mbappe secure Ligue 1 title. Paris Saint-Germain were made to work for their victory over Lens, but 2 moments of equality were enough to win the Ligue 1 title. Paris Saint-Germain were crowned Ligue 1 champions for the 5th consecutive season, as goals from Kvicha Kvaratskhelia and Ibrahim Mbappe sealed a 2-0 win over Lens. Luis Enrique's side knew a point was all they needed against the second-place Lens, but they managed to achieve all 3 to clinch the title with 1 game to spare. Lens started brightly and had 2 glorious chances in quick succession to take the lead in the 20th minute. Wesley Said's first